Hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Coffee Time with Mr. Yin, with your host, Mr. Yin. And today, we're having coffee. So I'm moving towards the last week of my professional career as a data scientist. And it's nothing but that bittersweetness. And I'm pretty sure this last week is going to get very emotional. That's why today I'm having my coffee black. So first things first, I just want to thank all the HRs, all the recruiters, as well as my boss who hired me, who provided me this opportunity. I'm nothing without this job. This job made me who I am today. And this position has always been the initiation of this YouTube channel, which provide all the resources that you guys are watching right now. So I'm definitely grateful for what I've been given. Also, on a side note, that this is also during pandemic, during COVID-19. So I felt tremendous amount of luck for being able to sit here and to do my job. And I want to do my job well. So, which is why I'm putting down a lot of hard work, literally blood and sweat, to try to crunch the code, to get the code done, and get that code shipped out. So all of this served as a very important milestone in my life before I move on to the next step. And I just want to point out that in this special episode, I want to summarize a couple of the points that I learned from my job. So hopefully, if you're looking for a data scientist job, then this episode can definitely serve as a reference point to go on interview or how to handle your job professionally, as well as what are some intake process. So with that being said, let's get started. Number one rule I learned from this job: what's your intake process? Every GitHub repo, every production code, every project, every module has an objective, and that objective serves as a guidance for us to move forward. So in other words, before you get a project started, before you code, you need to have a specific pipeline structured, perhaps not always on paper, but in your head. You need to understand what goes into the code and what comes out of the code. And that's extremely important. And you need to have that clear mental image before you can code things out. Because computer code is essentially just a translation of a bunch of executions to tell your machines to do something. So this objective, this intake process, it's going to be there to help you move forward, and that's going to be something that you need to have before you get the coding process started. Number two is about communication, and you probably already guessed this. Data science project, end of the day, it's about collaboration. And when it comes to collaboration, there's going to be communication, there's going to be a lot of overview of each other's codes. And that's going to be extremely important. And this is precisely when good communicational skills come in. And when I say communication skills, I'm not talking about you're a fun person to hang out with, or that you can speak English well, right? Communication skill, it's about a combination of different skill sets together, as well as the programming skills to be able to put complex ideas into a table, into a graph, that sort of thing. And all that things can be compacted and communicated out to your friends, to your teammates, as well as to your boss. Number three, and this is probably the most important part that I realized that I learned from this current data science job, which is the importance of data. Yeah? At school, the data are provided to you. And especially undergraduate program, master program, the data is there. You download it, it's clean. There's a minimum amount of data engineering, data wrangling that students are doing. Why? Because professor needs to grade your homework. And when they grade the homework, they're looking for correct answer. And to have that correct answer in front of you, you need to be able to have all of the data input to be exactly the same. Now that's obviously not going to happen in real world, right? In real world, the data you see today could be very different from the data you see tomorrow. So that's not going to work. Which is why it's also important for students to realize that the skill sets in data wrangling and data engineering is far more important than if you just be able to build a model. So that's going to be something extremely important. Make sure to write it down and execute that in your job searching process. So let's come back to this third point that I'm trying to make, the importance of data. Data is extremely important, okay? When I talk about importance, I'm not just talking about clean data that's workable, fair and square, that sort of thing. Now that's of course important, but I'm talking about the importance level of the data that's going to change your career, yeah? There are lots of data scientists. There are lots of data scientists in every different fields. So in each field, there's a particular set of data. And the data is going to be serving as a North Star, right? And that's going to be what's guiding you moving forward. If the data is dirty, the data is about some story that's not interesting to people, then that's going to be a problem. then you can spend all your time to build all those fancy charts, to build all those complicated models. The results are not going to work. Yeah, so that's going to be something that's crucial to keep in mind of. And if you're in a company that the data is dirty, it's not fair, and the data is not suitable for building neural network, for building deep learning problems, then you're not going to be able to build deep learning modules. That's not going to happen. And that's not because of you or because your boss or because of the deep learning computer program, but it's really just because this is not what this industry is for. But if you're in the environment that a company spend 150 plus K TC to hire data analysts to clean up this data, then you'll probably be in a better shape than other companies who do not spend that expense. And that's going to be something to keep in mind of. If you can, please work with a data engineer, work with a data analyst. That's going to be able to shorten your time by a lot. So you are there to truly do what you want to do. You're there to build a model. You are there to investigate what's the story. You're not just there to clean up the street for people to walk on. So that's going to be something extremely important, and that's going to be something that's guiding you forward. Now, on top of that, there's also other ethical problems involved with data importance. You don't want to find yourself in a field. There's a lot of media attraction that stops you from moving forward, right? So you don't want to be in the position that the data is there, data is beautiful, model is beautiful, you can't deploy it because someone said this is not safe, right? So that's going to be important to keep in mind. I'm in my 20s, so if my career goes forward for like another 10 years, 20 years, I don't want to spend 15 years to clean up the data, right? I want to get there as fast as possible. So that's going to be something extremely important. The next point is going to be this generalist versus expertise kind of perspective that I want to bring on the table. Yes, everybody wants to know everything, right? But that's not possible. Everybody wants to be a generalist. Everybody wants to know a little bit of everything. And yes, to some extent, you want to do that, right? You want to be the kind of data scientist that knows machine learning. But then on top of that, you probably also want to be a statistician. And then on top of that, you probably want to know a little bit of engineering background. So if you're going to build a Jenkins job or you're going to handle a GitHub project, you know what are the things to look out for, right? So something like that, it's interesting. And that's unfortunately not something that you can learn from school. At school, you're given a project, this is the objective, you write a paper, you're done. But in reality, at corporate level, at enterprise level, you really want to have multiple hats on. So not only can you provide this independent thinking from different perspectives, but also if things go wrong, you can have the right knowledge, the right language to talk to different people from different backgrounds so that the communication process is much smoother. And that's going to be something extremely important. So that's about being a generalist. Now, to what extent do you want to be an expert, to have that layer of expertise? That's also important. When you're in the beginning level of your career, you probably want to be a generalist, meaning that you are able to handle different perspectives of the project, and if you can't figure something out, you have the knowledge to communicate with people so that you can learn. So generalist is what I recommend you guys to do to start off from the beginning. And then when you build up that domain knowledge, when you look at enough data in that field, you can probably move forward to be an expert. And then you can probably switch your job, switch your title, bounce your salary up a little bit, 20%, 30%, 50%, something like that. And you will probably have a much better future, a faster career track than just staying at generalist. So I would say in the beginning 2 to 3 years of your time, you probably want to stay as a generalist. Learn as much as you can. On top of that, you slowly build up this domain knowledge about a particular type of data set. Self-driving has a particular type of data set. Weather report has a particular type of data set. And if you are expert in one of them, then you can build a career on that. You can lead the team and you can get paid 200K, 300K a year. Something like that is going to be extremely important. And in terms of career development, this change of roles, this development of different titles, different roles, require different types of skill sets. And when you're doing career management, the change of roles plays a key role here, and that's going to be something that you definitely want to pay attention to. So now we're at the end of the video, and I just want to wrap things up to say that I'm in debt to all of those who helped me to land this job, and for all of those who helped me throughout this job at Bayer, which is a EURO STOXX 50 company. And all of this play an important milestone in my professional career as well as my machine learning and data science career. And last but not least, keep learning. And that's why I think all of you should subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.